The Bordeaux Diligence, recorded by Lord Halifax in his ghost book. A French gentleman, who had lost his wife and was in much sadness and misery, was walking down the Rue du Bac one day when he saw three men, who looked at him very pleasantly, and pointed to a woman at the end of the street, said, "Pardon us, sir, but would you do us a favour?" "Certainly," he replied. "Would you mind asking that lady at the end of the street at what time the Bordeaux Diligence starts?" He thought the request odd, but went to the end of the street and said to the lady, "I beg your pardon, but could you tell me at what hour the Bordeaux Diligence starts?" She answered hurriedly, "Don't ask me, go and ask the gendarme." So he went up to the agent de police and put the same question to him. "What?" said the man. "At what time does the Bordeaux Diligence start?" At this, the agent de police turned around, arrested him, and took him to the police station, where the man was put in a cell and presently brought up before the magistrate, who asked what was his crime. The agent de police replied, "He asked at what time the Bordeaux Diligence starts." "He asked that, did he?" said the magistrate. "Put him in the dark cell." "But," protested the gentleman, "I only asked what time the Bordeaux Diligence starts, to oblige some men, who asked me to ask a woman, who told me to ask the agent de police." "Put him in the dark cell," was the only reply. Later on, the gentleman was brought up before a judge and jury, and the judge said, "What is this man accused of?" The agent de police answered, "He came and asked me at what time the Bordeaux Diligence starts." "He said that?" exclaimed the judge. "Gentlemen of the jury, is this prisoner guilty or not guilty?" "Guilty!" they all cried. "Take him away," said the judge. 7 years at Cayenne." So the wretched man was taken out in a convict ship and kept a close prisoner at Cayenne. After a time, he struck up a friendship with the other prisoners there, and one day they decided that each should tell the reason why he came to be sent to the island. One said one thing, another another, until it came to the turn of the latest arrival to explain why he had been sent there. "Oh," he said, "I was walking down the Rue du Bac one day when I saw three men, who asked me if I would ask a lady at the end of the street at what time the Bordeaux Diligence started, just to oblige them. I went and asked her, and she told me to ask the agent de police, but when I asked him, he turned round and arrested me, and I was taken to the police station, and before the magistrate, and then before a judge and jury, who sent me here." When he had finished speaking, there was silence, and from that time forward, everyone shunned him. After a while, the governor of the prison came to investigate the crimes of the various prisoners, so that some of them might be let off with easier work. At last the gentleman was brought before the governor, who asked him what had been the nature of his offence. He repeated his story. "That," said the governor, "give him solitary confinement." The poor man applied for the ministrations of the chaplain, who asked him what his crime had been, but when he repeated his story, the chaplain went away and left him. So he continued in misery and agony for 7 years, until at last he was allowed to return home, without money, without relations, and without friends. One day, shortly after his return, he thought he would walk down the Rue du Bac once again. And as he did so, he saw the same woman at the end of the street, but looking very old and horrible. He accosted her and said, "You are the author of all of my misfortunes." She replied, "Don't touch me, but if you like, I will tell you why I asked you to do what I did. Go to the Champs-Élysées tonight at 12 o'clock, and you will find a hut. Knock at the door and go in, and I will explain to you why you have suffered all this misery." He went to the Champs-Élysées at the time mentioned, identified the hut, knocked, entered, and found the woman inside. "Now," he said, "tell me why I have suffered all this." "Give me a glass of cognac," was the answer. He took a bottle from the shelf above her head and poured out a glass of brandy, which she drank. "Now," he said, "tell me." "Give me some more cognac," she said. He gave her some more, and she began to speak. "Put your ear down here," she said. "I am very weak and cannot speak loudly." He put his ear down to her, and she immediately sank her teeth into it and fell back with a heavy sigh, dead.